Welcome, everyone, to the new podcast. We are going to be inviting my brother, Zach, to join in today. Mr. Z, thanks for being here, bro.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for having me.
So we had Zach on here before. It was actually a very popular episode. It was 10 tips on hitting double-digit days. People liked it. People liked your insight. So the goal now, we literally got back from DoorCon, like today's the first day. And while we're motivated, while we got lots of stuff on our brain, we want to go over a few different questions and kind of break down what we learned, impressions, and some insights that we gained. So that way we can hopefully get you guys motivated and take away what we learned. So
sick.
Sound good? So we'll start off with you, Z. I'm going to be asking you most of the questions, and then I'll just kind of like chime in and kind of give you my thoughts too.
Sounds good.
But we'll kind of start with you and get your impressions for the day. So this is your first time at DoorCon, right?
First time.
Cool. My first time too, by the way, guys. So our first time at DoorCon. What did you like? And first impression, I guess. What do you think about it?
Well, I was astonished with how many like vendors were there for starters. It's crazy. Not only like, I don't know, my expectation was gonna be pretty much just people are gonna try to get me to recruit me. And that's not at all what it is. It's pretty much the complete opposite of that, actually. It's pretty much technology that people want us to use so that we can better ourselves for like pro tips, or whether it's like canvassing apps, or even it's just like after the doors and investing our money. There was a lot of that too, like for a couple real estate ones.
There was actually there's some like actually really cool vendors. That was actually one of the things I didn't expect to be as cool as I thought. It was like the vendors. Usually you go to these events, the vendors are just like a side thing. They're just trying to push something on you. But this was like when I was like genuinely interested. So Cypher was one that was cool.
I agree. Cypher did look cool.
Cyro, I don't know how you say those. I was very interested in them, mostly because they totally took my business idea, you guys. Totally took it.
He did say that they took it from
pretty crazy.
He pretty much, before even knowing what they did, told me exactly what he wanted to do, and it was pretty spot on.
It was literally, it was insane. But it
news you lose.
But exactly, like it was a good idea. So Cyro, for those who don't know, and I'm not doing a shout out to them because I don't really know anything about them other than they took my idea. But the idea was to use AI to track your record yourself, and then use that data to then learn more about how your sales are going, and like use it as a training tool and as a manager's tool to see how your reps are doing. It's like, oh, they're struggling. They've only talked to 10 people and they've been knocking for 3 hours today.
Yeah. Are they getting past the intro? What objections are they getting?
Are they, what's the reason behind that? Do I need to move them area? Are they not even really knocking? And there's just a lot of data, but really it's good to know because they'll break down like at what point were they closing, what their closing percentages were, what was the common objection that kept changing. So anyways, totally had the same idea, had actually looked into making this app, talked to developers about making this. Like I was that serious about it, had made out this whole plan. And it was just really complicated. And so it got to a point where I was like, dude, this is going to be a really complex business. And it is. They said they had like a 10-team engineer team who had to like build it out. And anyways, Cyro, shout out to them. But I was impressed with those guys. But Cypher, anyways, first impression, that was an impression for me.
But vendors-wise, that was really cool. The other thing, so many golden doors. It makes me feel like such a bad salesman. Just being blunt. It's insane. We didn't even go over pest and solar today. We just did what we do: roofing, window repair, and then we did what other one?
There's some random ones like turf.
But essentially, at least 70?
Yeah, I would say. I'd say close
70
to
people,
70.
Not including the two biggest industries, solar and pest. So that was insane just to see old, young, security, male, female. Like it really made me it just showed more than anything how possible it is.
Totally did.
Like it made me I can't believe I haven't hit it. You're telling me like in the nicest way possible. I'm looking at some of these guys go up there. I'm like, you're telling me one of the guys, he like double golden doored. And I'm like, I can't single golden door, and this guy can double door. It's crazy. They don't look like super crazy people that have different skill sets.
I've seen like the photos of the golden doors every year, and I've you hear like there's 30 people who golden door or whatever. You just hear these numbers, but being there like in the stage or like not on the stage, but like
clapping for every single one
in the audience, just watching it. And it got exhausting. It was exhausting. Towards the end, I was like, I'm done. I'm done hearing these golden door awards. Like, this is crazy. Like, it almost kind of got to the point where I was like, crap, dude.
Maybe a little bit of jealousy was in there.
Totally. But it made me realize the same thing. I was just like, dude, so we can talk about that in a second, but there was a PES panel where there was all of them were golden doors. One of them was double golden door. And anyways, got some good tips from them, so we can kind of talk more about that. Lots of golden door reps. Any other first impressions?
I mean, that's kind of like what really stuck out with me was the golden doors. I was just like, man, I need to get on it. And honestly, but it's not in a negative way. In no sort of way was it negative. All it is motivation. It's like, I wish them the absolute best, but at the same time, I want the best for myself. And so I know that I can do it, so I will do it. So I'm excited for this next year. It got me motivated.
All right, let's do this. So while we're talking about golden door, I think this is a common thing people want to talk about. So let's talk about that.
Okay.
So we listened to these golden door reps. There was a panel of 5 or 6 of them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5.
Yep. So up on the stage, and he was going through, was just asking them, drilling them with questions of like their routines, things that they struggled with previous years, why they didn't accomplish it one year and why they accomplished it this year, like what changed. So he has some good questions. I think that's something that people like to hear. Golden door, like what does it take to golden door? Hearing it from some of the top, and these are like top golden door individuals.
Well, I thought they kind of gave a hot take on the routines, and I kind of liked it. I understood at least where they were coming from. I think that there's a little bit of in between. I think some of them were a little extreme on it, but routines are important. But I think it's basic routines, and it's routines that you can do.
Yeah.
What I took out of it was the summer is not the time to make or learn a new routine. You need to make your routine before the summer if you're going to have a routine. Because what they kept talking about is if you have a routine that you're not hitting, then all of a sudden all it is an excuse to not hit your goals for the day.
Yeah.
And honestly, I see it. There's days that I would skip the gym because I was tired or whatever it was, feeling lazy that day. And it puts you off.
Yeah.
And it was because I was trying to like get into this, hit the gym every day, make this breakfast.
The routine of what made your cells.
And so I would have a worse day per se, not always, but it felt like that sometimes. And so I actually kind of liked what they said about that having you don't have to have an insane routine, but what I would add to it is make sure you make your routine before the summer. So you're not learning a new routine during the summer. Make the summer your priority and don't make something else your priority while you're trying to knock. Because I think that was Patrick, the one on the far right, that said that. He was just like, it's knocking season. It's not gym season. It's not this. If gym's in your routine already, great. Keep it in. That's going to be what's the best for you.
Yeah.
But if you're not a gym goer, it's almost too much for you to start going to the gym and go hit golden door.
Totally agree. I think one of the things that I got was they did a pretty strategic job of choosing their panelists because they were very different. All of them.
They were very different.
Very different. Some of them were very more routine focused, and some of them were more open with their routines. And he's like, I don't really have a routine. My routine is I sell every day. Like that was literally what he said. Is like, I'm just like, honestly, like I don't have a routine that I have to do these things. But they did have a few like non-negotiables is kind of how I heard him say it. That all of them, I heard a common trend in some of them. So the common trends I heard are like non-negotiables. They all left, I would say 10 o'clock, they'd be on the ditch.
They all made it. They said either 9 left or 9 meeting is what they said. And it was definitely as soon as the meeting was done.
As soon as the meeting's done, they were gone. So 9 to 10, like they're gone, and they're usually on the doors between 10, probably 11, like latest. Yeah. And all of them knocked until 9 o'clock, right?
Yep.
One of them said, I heard this from a lot of people, like some people got inspired. There's this one rep who sold like, million plus, and he had his mindset was this. He's like, I have completely committed to 70 hours, 10 months, 70 hours a week, 10 months of work. I'm completely willing to do that to hit golden door.
Yep.
And so that's you have to have that as almost like a non-negotiable. Is like, are you willing to do 70 hours, 10 months of work, or 12 months of work, whatever it is, like whatever that non-negotiable is, are you willing to do it? If you're not, then you really need to consider, like, is Golden Door, do you really have what it takes to be a Golden Door winner? Or are you just like saying, I would like to be a Golden Door winner?
It'd be so nice to have all that extra money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
like, it would be fun to walk on stage. I'd love to be one of those guys who are on stage, like just that feeling would
but it's more than just a want. It's these guys are dedicated.
Yep. There's a non-negotiable aspect to it. And so the routine was all different. But I like what you said is you don't change your routine during the summer. You create a routine. You have a few non-negotiables. One of the non-negotiables has to be you leave by 10.
Yep.
I would say, like, that's a non-negotiable. And then the routine that I liked was the other guys. Like, his routine is like, I just sell every day. Like he said, it's like, I sell, and that 10,000 a day was like his average.
And that was his first year Golden Dooring. And so he said, since then, I've just done better.
He's just always consistently
more than 10K
a day. Like, wow, I was like, freak. Okay. So that standard to him is that's his routine. He's like, I go out, I sell 10K a day. He knows the effort that goes into it, which is lots of time on the door. But that was it. I don't know. That was one of the things. So
they definitely, if you want a Golden Door, learning and watching these guys that have Golden Door, I think that is one of the big takeaways is you have to dedicate a whole lot more time than what they kept saying this, the traditional summer sales. It's not summer sales anymore. They kept calling it professional sales, but to Golden Door, it's not you knock 3 months out of the year and just go. It's you're dedicating your whole day, your whole week, and a whole lot more than 3 months.
What else do you think was like took away from like to Golden Door? Like, what else was like a key takeaway from them?
Trying to think what else from those 5. They said one other thing. What was the question that they asked from from us? Do you remember?
Like one of the like
from the systems.
I mean, I know one of the questions they asked was regarding like what you did, what changed from year 1 to year 2. Like, why did you not do it last year and why did you do it this year? That was one that I do remember.
And I think what every single one of them all said was the reason why they couldn't do it year 1 to year 2 was because they just weren't dedicated. That was it. Every single year is like, I mean, there's a couple of them actually. There's 2 of them that were saying, because it's a common myth that everyone says, oh, it's not skill, it's just hard work. Yeah. It's hard work, of course, but there is skill involved as well.
I was going to add, that was kind of one thing I liked that they said it was skill. Like, I heard it from, 2 of them where they like really focus on, like, everyone talks about you just have to want it really bad enough. It's like, honestly, it's like, that's not true. You have to have skill set developed enough to be able to do that. And it's not to say, there's obviously rookies who do Golden Door.
That's just those skill sets come naturally to them. But
or they probably have been developing those skill sets before the summer.
Exactly.
Honestly.
When I say naturally, I mean it's been built up.
Yeah.
Throughout.
They've developed it to the point to where knocking the door was just like an easy outlet to the skill set they've already learned. Those are rare and far between. Most people are going to have to knock a few doors to get that skill set built up. And so that was like one of the things I liked is like, one of the differences is like, they're like, dude, honestly, like if you really think that you're going to go Golden Door, like look what your best summer was and then look yourself in the mirror. It's like, do you have what it takes? Have you been progressing or have you been, regressing, degressing? Like, which direction are you going? And as long as you're showing progress, then you can know that it's possible.
And I think that's so motivating because, I mean, I look at myself and I definitely am not exactly where I want to be. I will attest that to the fact that I feel like in sales, I've always been 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah.
I've always been like, so I've been doing aviation for those who don't know. And I feel like I've just always been like, okay, I need to finish aviation. As soon as I'm done with aviation, go fly. It's never, I'm doing sales all year round.
Right.
And so I'm really excited because this is going to be my first year where I'm actually full into sales. And so seeing that I could progress every year, like you were saying, while half in, I'm really excited to see what I can do.
It'll be so much, it's so much better when you're like completely immersed and like body full, just like completely committed. Like that's how I was my first 4 years. Then when I left to come back, once I came back, I was like, this is it. door to door is actually way better than any other opportunity that I can see in my life right now. And so I made it a career. And for a lot of people, they look at it as like, huh? Like, why is this a career? It's like, because it gives me the lifestyle that I like. And it's truly not that hard when you compare some of the things other professions and people have to go through. Like, it's really not that hard. It's just a grind in the fact that you're getting out there, you're working every day, doing the same, dealing with the same objections. That's the hard part. Knocking doors is not hard.
It's really not. I mean, like, it's just crazy to me. Like, it sounds so hard, and in the moment, it's hard. Yeah. But no matter what job you're at, you're gonna complain.
Yeah, you're gonna.
It's just how life is. No matter where you are, you're gonna complain. You might as well complain and make a whole lot of money.
I agree. It's the phrase I like, where it's just like life's hard, so choose your hard.
Yeah.
So it's hard to go work a 9 to 5. It's hard to do a commission sales job. So choose your hard. Like, which one's going to get you to the point in your life that gets you most motivated? Are you more risk averse, right? If risk scares you, then 9 to 5 is the path.
Yeah.
If risk doesn't scare, if risk motivates you, then commission jobs are where it's at.
100%.
And that's what excites me. So I'm definitely more on that path, but
I agree.
All right,
we can get back.
Let's do another fun question that we had. All right. All right. Which speaker or session had the greatest impact on your mindset or approach to door-to-door sales?
Well, I just think, hands down for me, the best we've been talking about it. It was really weird because I was not expecting it. But Mike Posner, I'm sure most of you know, like, is the music artist, sings the two famous songs, Cooler Than Me and I Took a Pill in Ibiza. Absolutely. I was so confused when I saw him on the keynote. I was like, okay, so he's going to sing us a song. That's interesting.
And he did sing us a song, but it actually was kind of confusing at first.
He sang us I Took a Pill in Ibiza. It was acoustic, really good voice.
Oh,
we were talking that.
Good. It's like auto-tune built into his voice, guys.
It's crazy. But it wasn't about music at all. It was all about just about his life. And I don't know if I liked it because I wasn't expecting it or what, but it was really emotional, honestly, like the whole thing. So he talked a lot about how he was really close. He was going down a dark path, close to suicide. And then kind of made a decision, like Hollywood was killing him, essentially is what he was saying.
Yeah.
Like the pills, just everything like that. He was trying to make friends with everybody, and he felt like he did when he was on stage, but as soon as he was back at his house, he was all alone and felt like it. So he decided that he was just going to make a last-ditch effort. And so that last-ditch effort was to walk across the United States, which is crazy.
Which I didn't realize, but it was like 3,000 miles.
I mean, I've never driven to Jersey. You have, but I drove to Alabama, and that was pretty miserable. So
that's crazy.
I can't imagine you walked from New Jersey to LA. I think it was LA.
Yeah.
And crazy, but essentially he just talked about his motivation and how it changes us to do hard things. And that's what this job does. I think the biggest key takeaway I got from him, well, there's two things. I really liked, you just need to take the first step. Yeah. That's all it is. In sales, it hits so hard. It's the exact same with so much in sales. It has to do with when the summer starts. The summer is so much scarier in the months leading up to it. Even like right now, it's January. We have months ahead, and I'm like, oh man, do I really have this in me? Like, obviously I haven't done this for however long. It's not that bad.
But there's like that pressure, that buildup.
Yeah.
You can't control, you can't explain it. And then, yeah. And he's standing, he said, in the Atlantic Ocean to start his journey. And he took that first step out of the Atlantic Ocean onto the beach. And he said, it's like this calm came over him of like, okay.
There's just no more pressure.
Yeah.
You get lost in the action. That's what it is. And it's the exact same with sales. It'll happen once you start going out there. So if you feel this crazy pressure going, like for your first time or even your second or third time, and you're super scared to go back out for summer, don't let that be your reason to not go.
Yeah.
That is a waste, because I promise you it gets easier the very first day you're knocking.
Yep.
Sure, there's hard
things.
Obvious.
After that first door, yeah, that first door has so much anxiety.
It's not even the door. As soon as you knock, because it's like, oh, well, I'm into it now. So all of a sudden you're thinking about what to do instead of thinking about the future. And it changes everything. And you'll get it every single day throughout the whole summer. It never really goes away. Yeah. Sadly. I wish it did. But
it gets easier.
It does get easier.
For sure.
But every day you're going out, we call it the pre-doors jitters or whatever. You're driving out to area and you're like, oh, man, do I really got this? And then as soon as you knock your first door, just go.
Yep. You get hungry.
Anyways, that was really cool because it related really well with me with doors. And then the second thing was he talked a lot about true happiness.
Yeah.
And I forgot the exact words he used. It was true happiness is, do you remember? It was pretty much saying it comes from pressure. It comes from trials. It comes from, do you remember the exact word?
I don't.
I'll just say pressure, but that wasn't the exact word he used. But essentially, he believes that true happiness, you can be happy when you're playing a video game. I mean, I'm smiling all the time when I'm playing Apex.
Right.
Hanging out with my friends, going snowboarding, whatever it is. But true happiness comes when you do something extremely difficult, when you challenge yourself beyond anything you even thought was possible. Because do I think I could walk across America? No. Like, I couldn't. If I just did it, I think that we would all surprise ourselves, just like Mike did. And so...
And I think what helped is he kind of hit his rock bottom, like where he was at a point in his life where he's like, I need to change something or else life's not worth living at his point. And so kind of getting to a point to where you hit that almost like an ultimatum of like, I refuse to continue living the way I'm living. I can't continue. If you're comfortable with the way of life you have, you're not going to make the change that you're looking to change. Like if you're comfortable selling 250 accounts and you want to sell 1,000 accounts, to hit golden door, like you're really not going to have that happen unless you like hit this ultimate moment where you're just like, I refuse to continue living this stuff like at this level. You just cannot accept it anymore. And I think that's what helped him because he talks about, I didn't know this, he gets bit by a rattlesnake. He's on this journey, like 2/3 of the way there and still had 1,000 miles left. And anyways, has to go to ICU, gets that figured out. 3 weeks later, he's back up on the road walking again. Like,
it's crazy.
Crazy. Guy's a stud. And he had he had like these 5 gems of wisdom or like 5 gems to happiness. I don't know how he called it exactly, but that was one of them. The one that I liked a lot was the very last one, which was don't wait.
Yeah, I was just going to say that too.
Yeah, because his whole reason behind it is his person he looked up to the most in his life was his father. His father loved him and he believed in him the most, he said, over everybody. And his father, more than anything, just wanted to see him healthy and happy. Yeah, that's what he said. And he was healthy to a degree, but he wasn't happy. And his father was constantly trying to get him to do things to be happy. And while he was supportive of his father, he wanted to walk across the United States years before he did, but he always had things that kept coming out. He's like, oh, I have this new album I'm creating. Oh, I need to go on this tour. And he kept putting it off until one day his father gets hit with some sort of like brain cancer. Pretty quickly, he died. And he was just saying, my dad never got to see me the happiest version I've ever been, which is now. He's like, and that's where it's like emotional. That's where he was like, that's why it was such a powerful message, is because he's been through so much. So he's like, you have all these goals, these dreams, take that first step. The last, gem is don't wait. Like if like, what was it? Not change, like is not all change is good, or
is that one?
The very first one is like crazy ideas.
Oh,
not all crazy
ideas are great, but all great ideas are crazy.
That was it. Yeah. So that was kind of his thing. Is like, if you have a crazy idea that you believe is a great idea, and you follow through, you take those first steps, like it'll change your life. Just don't wait. That's the big thing, because you never know when it'll be too late, where that person that you wanted to impress, that relationship you wanted to create, that life you wanted to live, slowly passes you by, and you look back 10 years later and you're like, crap, I had that opportunity and I missed out on it. And I know and what's funny, he's accomplished a lot, but he has a regret, right? He has a pretty big regret because he wanted to impress the person he loved and cared for the most. So anyways, super inspirational. Yeah. I liked him a lot too. So
he was just like, I didn't go into it expecting to like him a lot.
Yeah.
And I came out of it like really appreciation.
Yeah, I really liked him. I was kind of excited. I'd done a little bit of research about him, but it was better than I expected. Plus, he sings really good. So that helped. He sang us 2 songs. So, okay, that was a good one. Here's the thing. Were there any, not this one, I wanted to say, yeah, did you learn any new techniques or strategies that you're planning to implement in your sales process?
Well, I think we already talked about it. The one strategy is knocking earlier.
Okay.
It's like, that's something that I've never been like really good about. It's been like 1 o'clock. I mean, I've been strict on the 1 o'clock at least, but I've never been the type to go earlier. And I think it's because I've never really in my head even thought about Golden Door. It's like, oh, I have 3-4 months. I'm not going to hit Golden Door. But this year, I mean, I'm knocking at least 5 months. And so it's something that's just got to happen. And so I'm really excited to knock a lot.
And I would say, especially in the beginning, like when you have that fire and that energy, like, why not go to start at 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
You know, like, just at least take that step. Like, don't wait till, like the whole process. Don't wait till the end of the time. We're like, crap, I should have started earlier to like make up. It's like, no, like, start early. And then if you need to make adjustments, you make adjustments.
The one guy said it. He gave himself 10 months to hit Golden Door. And it ended up being too much. He actually ended up doing it in like 8 or 7 something months. And that is so much better than hitting 7 months and then having this crisis of, okay, do I not go back? Do I not go see my family? Do I not go see my girlfriend? Yeah. Do I not go do this because I want to hit Golden Door? And it makes it so much harder to go and complete this. But if you give yourself a lot of time to do it and you start out as hard as you can in the beginning, finishing earlier will feel so much.
It's crazy. And I just thought about it. He got married this summer too. He literally started the summer, he said, single, got married, and then went back because he said the first 2 months he was eating. Remember, he was eating lasagna at 3 o'clock every day for the first 2 months. He had this whole, he was a very routine, 3 o'clock, had his lasagna that he had every single day for 2 months, got married. And then after he got married, his wife told him he had to meet other meals besides lasagna.
Need a little bit of variety.
And so it just kind of goes to like, as a lot of people would say, oh, that's, it's a good excuse. I'm getting married. So I need to spend more time with my wife. It's like, dude, homie made 0 excuses. He's like, nah, this is more reason for me to get out and hustle more. And he was just so committed to his goal.
And it worked out because think about this, if he were to have gone a couple hours later just to spend a little bit more time with his wife, which isn't crazy. If you do that, you're not a bad person, but you do that. Do you think he'd rather have those 1 to 2 hours that they slept in a little bit longer, or the extra 2 months that he had because he went hard and go do something else and actually fun, go on vacation, go experience, go be with their actual family,
and actually spend the day instead of just spending like the last hours when you're like completely dead after knocking an entire day and you're a zombie. So
might as well go hard. You can come up with the excuses no matter what, but I think if you go hard, it'll always work out in the end.
I agree. Okay. Then we'll probably just do one more because this is kind of getting long. So what was your favorite moment or highlight of the entire event? That's a good one. Or I like this. How will your experience at DoorDoorCon shape your personal and professional goals moving forward? That's a good one. Okay. Cool. So I just wanted to share like one strategy that I gained. So we had a few different workshops that we went to. All of them very good. Loved them all. Yeah. The one I really took the most out of was the last one I went to. It was by Jackson. It was about recruiting. And I liked it because his was very like tactful. Like you're just like, you do these things, you're going to recruit guys. And so I'll kind of give you like my brief breakdown of like what I gained from his thing. Number one, it's you need to have lots of lines out in the water. So his analogy was all with fishing. And so he would say there's different types of fishing. There's the net, there's fly fishing, there's spear fishing, there's deep sea fishing. There's all these different types of fishing. And understanding that each type of, you need to bring the right rod and equipment to the right arena, to the right water source. And so if you're deep sea fishing, like his analogy is like deep sea fishing is be like the trophy rep. Like you're trying to get some guy from an industry who's like sold a lot. So you're trying to you need to approach him differently than the big net, you're throwing out a whole net trying to catch a whole bunch of fish, because the way you reach out to those people and the way that you reach out to the other rep is totally different. So understanding there's different ways to reach out, and it's important that you have lots of lines in the water. That was like one of his things. Like, you can't just expect to grow a big team by doing one thing, by just messaging friends. It's like, yeah, you should message your friends, but you also need to have your net in the water. You need to be dragging, trolling. You need to have, just trying to catch people there, social media, reaching out to people there, Indeed, whatever it is, LinkedIn. You should find he's had like 5 different ways that you can reach out to people. So going to universities, whatever it be, he has his like specific ones that he does the best at. I think his best is just personal reach outs and just online social media content and reaching out through people there. So that was kind of his 2 ways I feel like that he does it. In addition, like one of the skills and the things you need to do is when you're trying to recruit somebody, you have to understand what their personality profile is. And we teach this all the time in sales. Like when you like go to knock a door, every person goes into like one of the 4 profiles, right? There's like the lions. He has their own names. Like the way I call it, there's the lions, there's the Labradors, there's the dolphins, there's the owls, right? There's just those people who are really fixed on data points. And then there's the people who are a little bit more upfront. They're, the lion, they like want to control it. They want to be a little more bulldozer. Then there's your Labradors, a little more fun, active. They want to talk. They're excited about incentives. They want to be a part of a team culture. Those are the types of things that excite them. So yeah, things like that. And then there's a mix of variety of different ones. One of them he says like a lamb, which in a way could kind of be like the dolphins. But for him, a lamb was just usually it's like the little more softer spoken. And it was kind of funny as I've always considered myself, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of like a Labrador or an outgoing guy. And I kind of realized I'm a lamb, like when he was like talking to it. But and he's like, honestly, it's not bad, because the lambs are usually the ones who are just, they're a little more, not emotional, but they ask questions. They're like wanting to know, like, cool, like, well, let's see if this is a good fit for you. Let's talk about, what your goals are, what your ambitions are. And let's see if this can like align with what you're wanting. Anyway, so those are different things. Understanding people are going to fall in one of these 4 categories. You are going to automatically recruit people who within your profile a lot easier than you would the other profiles, right? It's like sales. Totally going to happen. The thing is like in sales, you have to be able to adjust. Just because you're a lamb or a lion or a lab or an owl, just because you're that profile doesn't mean you need to stay like that. As a matter of fact, you can't. You have to change depending on who they are. So when you're going to meet somebody, the big question that he says is you need to find a way to motivate them. Like not motivate them. You need to figure out what motivates them. You just ask them. It's like, cool, what are you wanting from something like this? And another thing you want to figure out is are their fears? So what's motivating you? You're like, what are you looking for? And then what's holding you back? What are you afraid of? And one of the things I kind of remember now, like one of the keynote, the guy who did the real estate, like he was trying to be recruited, and all these people, you get 3 different guys who are trying to recruit him. He hated it. Sam Taggart walks into the room. He's his first summer, super hippie guy. And he's like, cool. Like he just sits down. He's like, cool. What do you want to do? He's like, oh, I want to do real estate. Grandpa does real estate. I've always wanted to do real estate. So I was like, okay, well, how are you going to pay for that? And immediately he's just like, I don't know. I'm going to go to school. That's why I'm going to school. I'm going to figure out, how do they pay for all this stuff? He's like, well, tell you what I did. I went and did this and I made $200,000 this year. And now I just bought my first house and I'm renting it out to all my friends. And I'm using this as a way to get into real estate. And all of a sudden he says, you shut up. He sat down, he listened, and he signed on with them. And it kind of like hearing that, but then hearing Jackson's experience, kind of saying like, the reason why Sam was able to get him on the team while these other 3 guys who kept trying to recruit him couldn't, it's because they weren't talking his language.
They didn't ask him what he wanted.
They didn't understand what motivated him. They were so focused on, they were probably more like lion personalities, a little more bold, a little bit like, let me show you why we're the best. You're going to love working with us. It's such a great organization. We have the best team. We have, all these golden door reps, whatever it is that you're trying to sell them on. When first thing is to pull back and just be like, what
You got to
really
first.
do you want? Like, what do you want in your life right now? And what's holding you back? What are you afraid of? Like, what would make you not accomplish this goal? And then once you figure that out, understanding what that profile is, right? And understanding, cool, is this person a little more like analytical? Or are they a little more motivated by a team and like competition, incentives? Are they bold like a lion, or do they just need you to just tell them to shut up and first? Because some people are like that. Some people are like, you need to just like, you give them the facts of like, we have this, you're going to love working with us. You just need to give us a shot. Let's do it. Some people need that just bold approach, others not. So just understanding who they are, and if they're more of a lamb, maybe they're a little bit softer spoken, they're kind, they don't want to, offend people. And so they're just listening to you. Like if that's that person, they're not talking a lot, you could probably put them into that category. So you need to stop talking and then go to them, just be like, now tell me more about you and like what your goals are. And like, let's see if this could be a good fit for you. Because there's certain phrases you wouldn't say, let's see if this is a good fit for you, to a lion. It's a terrible phrase.
No, the lion's going
to be like, well, no,
I'm fine.
Yeah, or no, exactly. Versus you say something like that to a lamb, like immediately they open up. They're like, I appreciate you saying that. I've actually had some questions about this. So just knowing the type will help you frame the right questions to help them out. So anyways, those are some strategies. There's obviously a whole lot more. There's a whole hour course, so we can try to dive into all that. But that helped me. I was kind of like understanding I need to have lots of lines in the water. I can't just expect to recruit a huge team by just doing one thing. I need to do a variety of things, figure out what works well. And then once you figure out what works well, kind of have a process for getting them into the door, getting them to do a meeting, talk to my manager, just be their friend, and then because especially if you're like, let's say you're a first or second year rep, you're not going to recruit these reps like because they're like, look at me, look at everything I've accomplished. It's like, no, like you've done this for 1 year. It's like, you want to use the manager, you want to use the owner, right? There's a layer that you want to like use to like show like, this is what, success, this is what potential can look like. Now, if you are the manager, if you are that higher up, then yeah, you can just use yourself. But it is always nice to have somebody who's above you, somebody who they can see, like, see, you're inspiring kind of, but this person is really inspiring. And that's really what you need to do. You need to inspire these reps. And if you're not that inspiration for them, then you need to bring somebody else in who could inspire them and who can connect, And he said it a lot. He's like, sometimes you just need to get out of the way, get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're the reason why they're not signing up. So just step aside, bring in the next person who's going to have a better connection with them, let them do the talking, and you're just there to support. You're just there to help out. And that's totally fine. So there you go. There's a lot of packed stuff there, but all right, we're going to end with this last question, you guys. I just wanted to share, like, how will the experience at Door-to-Door Con shape your personal or professional goals moving forward?
I think it's all mindset. But let's be honest, it's all sales. It's all mindset. It's all about motivation. It's all about what you believe in yourself and what you're capable of. And I think that's more than anything what I've gained out of this is it's possible. And I know that I can do this, and I'm just beyond stoked. I know how to sell. That's obvious. Like, you don't do this long and not know how to sell. The question is, it's almost a challenge to myself, and I'm excited to see what happens. Can I go every single day, longer hours, more months than I ever have before, and just obliterate your record? I think more than anything, and that's what I wanted most out of this, honestly. I mean, I just barely finished school, just barely graduated. And so I'm just barely getting out of that mindset, getting back into the sales mindset. And that's the whole reason why I went to Door-to-Door Con. I was like, I don't really know if I don't want to spend $500 on this, whatever. And the whole reason why I did it was to get motivated and get into the mindset of sales. And that's exactly what it did.
Yeah.
So it's changed my goals in the fact that before I was like, I want 400,000 and I'd like to hit a golden door. Like, it'd be nice to hit a golden door. I will never hit a golden door if I keep saying
yeah,
it will not happen. I just, from hearing these people, I'm understanding it will not happen. But at the same time, I'm learning how attainable it really is. We were sitting there when they were like in the one workshop, they're like, do the math before the summer starts. Then if you need to change it during the summer, you change it during the summer. And so I just like quickly did the math for 5 months. It's technically 4.5, whatever happens. If I have to go somewhere for a trip or something like that. And so 4.5 months, I need to sell 6 accounts at a 900 average. And that's assuming that they raise golden door 700,000. It's completely attainable.
And I think that's the thing.
Beyond stoked to prove to myself that I can do it.
Is they said, like, you need, like, when he said that, like, writing out the goals, he's like, think of a number that is realistically attainable for you. Like, it's a little bit of a push goal, but it's realistic. So you like say, like, let's say you average normally 3 accounts a day, for instance. So a realistic push goal is like, I'm going to push myself a little more. I'm going to do 5. Like, don't say I'm going to sell 7, 8. Like, if you've been averaging 3 and you're saying like, this year, I'm just going to change everything. I'm going to sell 8 a day. It's like, no, like, cause 3 roughly, let's say 3 is like 300, in the summer. Yeah. And so you just kind of think, okay, what did I sell this year? So like for me, I sold 500 accounts. So I just kind of said, I'm averaging 5. Yeah. So a realistic, like, good push goal for me would be 7. It's like, I should shoot for 7. I shouldn't say, oh, I'm going to sell 10, 12 accounts every single day. I hope to get there. Yeah. But realistically, 7 would be a good push goal. So now I just need to do the math. I'm like, cool, 7 accounts at whatever my ACV was this year. I'm going to raise it up a little bit more to, I was at like, I think 820, 830, so 900, right?
That's the other thing. ACV, just.
Yeah, that was the other secret they talked about.
You got it. Thank you, said.
Holy. So, but kind of making it attainable. And then, so yeah, that's a great goal. So I love it. So just kind of making that your goal, and then.
And I guess by doing this, I did manifest it, and I so put myself accountable. So I'm accountable. I'm in now. So
it's good to manifest it out there. There's a guy who walked up. He's just like, I'm telling you guys, I'm going to be here on the stage next year. It's kind of cool right at the beginning. I liked it. So, my thoughts, my experience, and like how it'll change me, and like specifically the goals that I don't necessarily have the goal of golden door this year. I had the goal of golden door this last year, and I didn't accomplish it. This year, it's not on my list. I do think what my big goal for this year is to make Rio marketing a long-term like opportunity, right? And to turn it into just like a
sustainable marketing.
Exactly. To turn it into something that's long-term, and it's not just me running it. It's starting to become more of like a system where I have managers, I have a process behind it. So I was motivated, inspired by a lot of these reps and these guys going out there. I'm just seeing these, whether it's through a recruiting thing or whether it's just through guys throwing down. I was motivated by these folks, just kind of got me to the mindset, like, I can do this. Like, I can build an organization, not just through my own personal selves, but like really focusing on helping the team, growing them, and building out a stronger team and not losing guys. Cause that's one of the things that frustrates me is like when you put a lot of effort in a guy and you lose it, it's like, crap. That's my new goal. Is like, how do I create a stronger retention program so that way Rio can become more than just, a few year thing, and then they're on to the next shiny object. Anyways, that was kind of what I got inspired today by that. And
I think it was inspiring. Well, to like go along with that, it was inspiring to see how many different groups there were there. I mean, we hear about like all the big groups, and we know of a few small ones and all the big companies. But there's in the industry, because we tend to get isolated in the pest industry.
Yeah.
It's insane how many companies there are and how big this industry is. There is so many smaller companies, and I can see them. I mean, a lot of them told us their stories about how they were small and how they've blown up. And so it's motivating.
It was cool. Yeah, the guy who sat next to us, they do remodels. They just remodel homes. They go door to door offering remodels.
Yeah.
And we met a guy at lunch. He does, weed killer, fertilizer for lawn. Like, there's just so many different things that are available. And anyways, it was cool. It was definitely an eye-opening. And they all come from all over the state and all over the country. Like, yeah, not just state, like, I mean, like all over the country and
a lot from Canada.
Canada.
Like then they said, I don't know, they said like New Zealand, they said Australia,
Mexico.
Yeah.
They come from all over the place. That to me was just like, wow, like I am in a little bit of a bubble, I guess. So I need to branch out and just realize that pond is bigger than you imagine. If you think there's not enough guys to recruit, if you think you've tapped out on your growth opportunity, your market that you're selling in is too saturated, it's not true. This industry is growing and there's more sales, there's more Golden Door winners every year. There's more opportunity year after year. And it's not like it's not saying like, oh, it's too much or this. It's like, no, it's possible.
And that's another sales strategy that I kind of liked was from one of the workshops, how they said the one thing that we need to get better at, or that he at least really liked, was switch over pitches. And that just goes into, I feel like a lot of people, and I'm a victim of this myself, I'm like, holy crap, this is a saturated market. It doesn't matter. It does not matter, especially in pest control. Switchovers, he's like, switchovers, this is his words, are the easiest.
So it should motivate. And all of the panelists nodded their head, like everybody's like on, like, oh yeah, like it was like so obvious. It's like, really?
It's like, so I've been thinking that was the hard one.
So I guess I'm wrong. Completely wrong.
I don't know. It's motivating to hear that because I feel like a lot of the time we think it's oversaturated, but in the pest control industry, can it ever really be if switchovers are the best?
Yeah. If your whole market is based on people who are already paying for it, so it's like, I just need to find those people and then show them why they need to buy from me.
Yep.
And anyways, I totally agree. But dude, this has been great.
Yep.
Any last second words you want to add?
Stoked for tomorrow.
Let's do it. I know we get a whole nother day tomorrow. I'm exhausted, so I'm ready to go and chill out for a little bit. So
sounds good,
shit, brother. Love you.
Love you too.
Peace.
It's probably a long one. Wasn't recording.